Paintball nerd.
Today's guest on Paintball Nerds started playing paintball in 1988. He began playing competitively in 1993 when he also formed Paintball of Waxahachie. In 1996, he became the vice president of the TCC. In 2016, he formed the world-famous Paintball Fit and Hydra brand. He's the father of four. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, JD Luckau.
Hey,
welcome, buddy.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. My pleasure. Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely. I know I've been wanting to do this for a while, so.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a while.
Yep.
So Paintball Fit has been referred to as the field of dreams. I'm not sure if you know this, but why do you think that is?
Well, I can tell you that for me, it was a dream. It was a dream that started years ago. Playing paintball, like you in the introduction, I started in '88. In '93, started Paintball Waxahachie. Played at all the different parks all over the state of Texas. Actually had opened multiple other of my own parks. I had an indoor in '96 to '97. I had another field in Waxahachie in 2005. My brother had purchased a field, Booney Rats, which was up in Sanger, Texas, which is where the great Texas Storm actually formed and became Texas Storm. And then my brother actually owned that. So I've been in the paintball field business for a while and helping other companies people open up their paintball fields. But my dream was to have a place where we could practice and not deal with, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with new players coming in, but not deal with birthday parties and bachelor parties and all that. We wanted to play paintball. And that was, so technically the dream for me started a long time ago. And then as my boys all grew up playing the game, then they love the game, and that just means the world to me that my sons love this game that I love and have played for the last 20 something years, and they love it every bit as much as me. And they're so much better than I ever could have dreamed I was going to be. And it really is. I'm living the life. I'm living the dream. So for me, it is a field of dreams. But I'm not the one who coined that. Actually, the first person who called it the Field of Dreams to me was Mark Johnson. So, which was pretty cool. So, very excited.
That's awesome. What was it like in the beginning stages of bringing up your boys and introducing them to paintball and getting them as enthusiastic about it as you are?
Oh, well, so that's a loaded question. And because I've been doing this for so long, I've seen good ways that parents bring their kids in, and I've seen horrible ways. All right, son, get out there. We're going to shoot you if you cry. You're not strong enough for it. And I never thought that was good. With my sons, in the beginning, I would go out there and play against them, but I would not shoot them. I would shoot at them. They felt it right by them, and whack, 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 whack. And then I would give my body to them. Now realize I started all my sons playing at 6 years old. At 6 years old, they got their first paintball gun, and I would take them out there and play. Johnny was playing. He played his very first tournament at 9 years old. But I'll tell you a really cool story. At 6 years old, so Johnny was really big for his age. He was one of the biggest kids in his kindergarten. And so when we would go to the fields back then, you had to be 10 years old to play. So I'd have to write that he was 10 years old, and they'd look at him and they'd go, all right. So I would take him out. And it was great. We had the most fun time playing rec ball, doing all that, having a good time. He got lit up one time, and I think he was about 7 at the time, and started crying. He threw that gun down. He's like, I'm done. Forget this game. Come on, let's go. So we went back to the truck. I just pulled the tailgate down, sat down, ate lunch. We just chilled out. The whole time he's eating a sandwich, and he'd look at me, and he'd eat the sandwich, and he'd look at the paintball gun. And I knew what was going on in his brain, because he's remembering how much fun it really is. The pain's already gone. The tears are drying, and he's just finally like, and he's watching everybody going in and out. And next thing you know, he just looks gun. He says, "All right, Dad, let's go." And that was it. And that was the last time he ever cried. And he just loved playing the game. And at 9 years old, he played his first tournament, and it's been an awesome ride ever since.
Yeah. Colt tells a funny story about him falling in love with paintball too. It's similar actually, where he didn't want to play because it was scary and he got hurt and he ended up running down the field and shot a couple people. Maybe you can tell the story better.
So that was really cool when he did that, and actually that we were in San Antonio at X Factor playing. But for Colt, and he played paintball with his brothers, and everybody would have fun. But then when we went out and we started playing with other people, he got shot in the throat. Like we walked up, we go out onto this start gate, and he's standing on the start gate, and his buddy, whack, shoots him in the throat. He can't breathe.
Oh gosh.
And he's just like, he's done. Forget this. And then he took a little while, and then the same thing happened again. A couple of years later, he was going to play again and got shot in the throat, and he was just like done. When we opened up Paintball Fit, though, it was a different story. But prior, with all that time where he wasn't playing because he was like, it's not fun, it's too much pressure, and I didn't care. I was just like, it's okay, Cole. You know. So he came. He was still a part of the family. He's still a part of the game and the tournament and the teams when we play. He'd be in the pits helping us. He'd be on the sidelines. Back then with sideline coaching. So, you know, everybody could yell on the sides, and he was a big part of that. So he was mentally, he was in the game, and he knew the game. He knew the codes, and he was on point, and his voice carried great.
Yeah.
And so we were like, this is awesome. You know, little Colts over there, and he's coming down the field, and he'd have pool noodles. And he'd be swinging this pool noodles, marking where their snake guys were, and yelling, you know, this, that, and the other. So he was a huge aspect of the game. But the point is, mentally, he was always in the game. He just physically wasn't on the field. But that's the best part of this game. It's not the best part, but it's one of the great things about this game. This is a mental game. It's physical. Yeah. Really don't have nothing about it. It's a chess. This is the ultimate game of chess and football combined. And
yeah.
And it's great. And you can play, and to be able to play with your sons, let alone all your best friends, is just a blessing. And so then when we opened up Paintball Fit, Colt was like, you know, I guess I'm playing now. And it started off, we were just training there to go and play tournaments. But immediately we started, you know, calling teams saying, hey, come and practice out here. You don't got to worry about getting kicked off the field. It's just us. And so Colt started playing. And I'll tell you what, that boy was like a fish in water. Immediately just kind of took on that role, and it was like he was bred to do it. And it was awesome. So I would say anybody, if you got a kid and your kid is like, doesn't want to play, I didn't ever get on him about it. I mean, well, I shouldn't say ever, because I probably did a little bit, but I still, you know, he still came out, he still was a part of it, and your kid could do the same thing, and you grow your paintball IQ. So there's so many aspects of this game that you need to grow, right? You need to be able to brawl, you need to be able to run and shoot, you need to be able to do all these things, but you also got to understand the game. Not everybody out there is a Marcelo, you know, that literally, you know, or Ryan Greenspan. There's all the greats, you know, that they truly know the game, and that paintball IQ is huge. And I hope that one day that my sons will be in that realm of people. So
they're on their way, right?
That is the goal. That is the plan. So
did Johnny start playing first out of your sons?
Yes. Yeah. Johnny's the oldest. So Johnny, then Brody, and Trenton, my nephew. Brody and Trenton are literally the same age. Trenton, in fact, we just celebrated his birthday last night, and Brody's is in May. So they're only a few months apart. And then Colt's the baby.
Yeah.
So,
man, how does it feel to watch your kids' success and play, you know, kind of a different, more supportive role in it today?
Oh man. So a really good friend of mine, Mike Kramer, the owner of Fun on the Run here in Texas, years ago, back in the 90s, playing in the 90s, when I was getting ready to open my first paintball park, and he's the owner of that park out there, he told me, he goes, JD, if you open a park, you're not going to play as much. And I was like, no, I mark my word, I'm still going to play. And I did. All my parks, everything I did, I still played. Now, so in 2010, I went through cancer, and it got really bad for me. I was bedridden, and I couldn't eat. I had a feed tube and chemo and radiation, everything. And I went to a really dark place. But then my friends came and contacted me. It was like, Johnny went off to college. And it was hard for me because when he'd come back from college to see me, and I couldn't talk, and I was laying in bed, and it was really, really hard. And certain things happened in my mind, and I realized I didn't have as many memories with my kids as I wanted. I had a lot of great memories with my father, and I realized I just spent a lot of my time with my buddies, doing my thing with my buddies and bringing my sons along. They were my kids, right? And I decided I was going to live for them. And so my buddy Billy contacted me, and he's just like, dude, I got to get you out of this house. You got to come play paintball. You just play a point, just come and play it again. And I went, and I felt that fire again. And I thought the fire was gone. I still had the store, I still had paintball. I dealt with paintball every day, but I didn't get up on Sunday mornings. And for the longest time, Sunday morning, I was up at the crack of dawn, packing the truck and driving 2 to 3 hours. I drive out to Commerce, Texas to practice with the Texas Black Diamonds. Back then when we played on paintball fields, you literally ran into cow pies. You were playing in the woods with just gnarly stuff. We didn't have manicured paintball parks. And so I had to drive to get to them, because if you wanted competition, you had to drive. So when Billy got me to go back out and play, I was like, I don't know that I really want to do this again, but okay. And that day, Johnny and everybody came to, all my sons were there, and it just woke something up inside of me. A fire started burning. I'm like, I want to play some more. I definitely want to play. So by 2012, I was right back in the thick of it. We had started Apex Predators with a bunch of buddies from different teams that I had sponsored over the years. And we started playing the AXBL, which now, so when Steve Rabikoff first came to Texas, it was the GTS. His second run was with the AXBL. And we were playing those. And then we started going out to Cousins Paintball, and I was sponsored by Jed and Dye. You, in fact, were one of my very first salesmen back at Dye. And so I was, 100% back in the game again. And it was about now bringing my sons in. And that's where I tried to get Colt to play. But Brody and Johnny were still playing with us. And it was great. And Colt was just on the sidelines part of it. But but then once we got to Paintball Fit, I still was playing every weekend with them, but real quickly as they started the team Paintball Fit, it became apparent that I was getting old. Not that I can't play, but I wasn't as good as them, and I wasn't about to hold them back. And Sarah and we live for our children. So I don't feel bad that I don't play anymore, because I feel great that I can still help them. They don't need my knowledge anymore. They've far surpassed that. But I hope that they still need my help in the pits, and my help in guidance in any way that I can handle to them. And I believe that they do. And I'm very blessed. They're pretty amazing kids. So
that's incredible. It sounds like the battle through cancer really motivated you to dig deep and find a way and realize really that you could connect with your sons more. And what better way to do that than the game that you love? I love it.
Oh yeah. Like I've said this ever since I've been training my boys. You know, it's like paintball is life. Life is paintball. The things that you're going to learn in this game, you will use in real life. You know, you communicate. You got to work with others. You have to learn to adapt to whatever situation happens. You don't freak out. You don't curl up in the corner in life and like, oh, this sucks. You know, you get up and you figure out what the hell you got to do, and you make it happen. So in the game of paintball, that's what they do, and it's pretty impressive because I love to watch my sons play. The whole paint. I shouldn't even just say my son. Well, I can say my sons because all of them. Jonathan Chavez has lived with me for a long time. He doesn't live with me now, but different players have been in my life since they were kids. Hell, Jay Money. I met him when he was like, well, when we opened up Paintball Fit is when I met him. He was just a kid playing with an axe, and you know, and it was just crazy. And just to bring him up into it and go, but I kind of lost my train of thought with what the question was. I'm sorry, but anyway.
Well, yeah, we were just talking.
Yeah, it's been great, and all of them, you know, doing what they do is phenomenal. But oh, that's what it was. When they're playing the game and they go down a body, they go down 2 bodies, they go down 3 bodies, they don't get rattled. They're still playing the game. They're figuring out the situation. What do we got to do to win this? You know, Casey might towel it, but he's not going to towel it because they're like going, fuck me, I'm screwed. What am I going to do now? They're absolutely trying to figure out, all right, here's the situation. What are we going to do this? And they're good about making their bodies, doing what they need to do. And then here comes the attack. So I think,
are you healthy now, JD? Are you cancer free?
oh, I'm totally cancer free. Yes. Thank you for asking. I go in every year and I get the green light every year. So we're good.
Do you think that it's possible that the motivation to connect with your sons has helped cure you of cancer?
Absolutely. I think that mentally, our minds are way more powerful than most people think, and I truly believe that I am the happiest now than I've ever been in my entire life, and I've had a really awesome life. I love my mom and dad and my brothers, who, you know, I started playing paintball with my brothers. That was what we did, and it was some of the greatest memories were doing that. But be able to do it now with my sons is remarkable, and it's something that I dreamed of when my kids were young. I mean, I still remember when they were 6 years old, and I brought Brody and Colt both matching. Well, they're 3 years apart, so it was a little bit later. But when Colt turned 6, and they both got the protos, and they one of them had a red one of them had a blue one, and you know, and I always dreamed that they would play tournament paintball together, and to have it come to life is remarkable. So yeah, I'm happy, and I do believe that keeps me happy because happy, and I choose to be happy. So,
Amen. I love it, man. I absolutely love the story. And you talk with your kids, and they just have this immense glee about you. You know, they love you, and they love the contribution that you make to the team today. And I see it, and I see at the events dragging around the carts and making it happen for the team on the sidelines. And you know, it's easy to covet that, what you guys have. I dream of that. You know, my kid's 3 years old, but you know, when I look at the relationship that you have with your boys, it's like, what else could you ask for? You know, as a paintball player, someone who loves paintball, is passionate about it, a paintball nerd like me, you know, you're living it. You've paved it out. That's what it looks like.
yeah, for sure. It's pretty awesome, pretty amazing.
Yeah. So Paintball Fit led to the Hydra brand. Tell us about Hydra.
So Hydra is obviously our knee pads and multiple other things. So the knee pads came from, well, once again, Johnny got hurt. He was at football, hurt his knee, so it would always be an issue. So we needed something that was better, more of a compression knee pad. So ended up developing these by buying weightlifting knee pads, and then I would stitch. That wasn't enough padding, so then I would stitch padding onto them, and
Wow.
and so that's how it was. You know, I'm a boot maker. I don't make boots anymore, but I still do my repair shop and all that stuff out there. And so I have all the equipment to work on them. So I would make all of his pads and my pads, and so then all my sons started wearing them, and then different players and different people would wear them. And when we opened up Paintball Fit, there was a lot more people that were always there with us, and so they were literally seeing them like, what is that? And so then I would make them for them, and then before long it was like, all right, we need to start our company. And then from there, then, you know, we just started developing more things like, you know, our Hydra skin pants. They're develop all of our stuff. By the way, we do all the product development. We make sure we test it. Unlike, you know, I've been in paintball long enough. I've seen a lot of companies come out and put a product out there, and guess who the product development is? Us, the public. And we're like, yeah, this is broke. This first generation, second generation, third generation. These are horrible. And then you know, but with us, we don't do that. The boys train constantly. So when we came out with our pants, we needed a material that would last, because we were, as anybody does, you go through a lot of pants in the game of paintball. You tear the knees up, you thrash them, they get hung on something, they rip. So my knee pads, actually, my classics were blue. When we created the Hydra Blacks, it was because a buddy of mine was playing at a different paintball park at a 3-man, and he had ripped his knee open on a stake. And it went right, and I've got horrible pictures of it, and it went right through my classic knee pad, ripped his leg open, and the doctor told him, had you not been wearing those, it would have took your whole kneecap off. And but immediately I looked at that and I was like, I need to improve my knee pad, because you're right. These stakes and these things, you're going to find them. I mean, I'm constantly walking it through Paintball Fit. Like, did somebody accidentally forget a stake or anything? Can't have it. But sooner or later, it's going to happen, no matter how meticulous a field owner is. So we developed that material. Actually, I found the material as out there and developed it onto my knee pad to where you couldn't. You know, it's not that I expect you to get in a knife fight, but I figure if it's razor proof, it's going to hold up to that kind of stuff. So then when we developed our pants, we just said, we need to take this same material and we're going to do the whole pant. And it's not that my pants are indestructible. It's not that my knee pads are indestructible, or, you know, or that other people's knee pads aren't as good, if not better. I don't know. I just really great, and my knee pads don't fall down. They pretty much stay in place, and my pants are gonna last. They're more durable than, I'll put it against any other pant on the market, where pretty much any other pant on the market, you're gonna go, you know, people that play a lot, you get a month's worth of wear out of them if you practice 2 times a week or 2 times a month or a week. So, you know, and then you play a tournament, next thing you know, you've got a tear or a rip, and you got to buy another pair of pants. I've got guys that have been playing in mine for a year and a half, and they're showing wear, or they've, you know, but they're not. If you wear mine out, you would have went through somebody else's way faster.
Right.
So
you got knee pads, pants. What else does Hydra make?
Jerseys. We do. We're about to come out with our Hydra Lights, which is more of a casual pant to wear, which is also a really strong abrasion resistant type of material, but they're more of a comfortable pant. Not really for playing in, but you can, because we put pockets on them. But they're really, really comfortable for just wearing around. In fact, we'll have them at Chicago. People, if you want to check them out, it'd be a way cheaper version of a paintball pant. Because we get people that come out and they don't want to pay $160 for a pair of pants, or they can't pay that much.
Right.
So they're buying, you know, $70 paintball pants, stuff like that, and then they're ripping them and tearing them. Or even worse, I see some of these guys, they're just going to Walmart and buying some pants, and then they don't have the flexibility that you need and everything. So I didn't want to give up. In any product that I make, that my sons come together and we try to think about, what do we want out of this? What do we need out of this? But we don't want to just make something and just here's a product that we're selling. I don't want to copycat anybody. I don't want to, I'll use people for inspiration, but I would definitely want something to be ours. So like our Hydra Lights are a very comfortable pant that you can just slip on and be comfortable, or they're really lightweight too, where you can have them in your gear bag and then slap them on and go out to to eat tonight, or whatever, and you got something clean, nice, lightweight. But if you do decide to play in them, you absolutely can. They're just not as durable as my other pant, but I'm pretty damn sure they're more durable than other people's pants out there, even so. But they're definitely my Hydra Lights. So
you gonna do gloves and elbow pads too?
So elbow pads have been a struggle for a while. We've been working on our elbow pads. A lot of people know that I've been working on them. I do have my prototypes of them, but it's making them in a way that I like them, that they're still really, really comfortable, and that they are going to be at a price point where I'm not pricing myself out. Because I did, and I kind of overdid it, and I was like, yeah, nobody's going to buy a $150, $200 pair of elbow pads. It's just not going to happen. So maybe, but yeah.
If it's handmade by JD Luckau, maybe. A lot of people don't, or maybe they're not aware of your ability to hand make things. Can you give us a little bit of background on your skills as a leather smith? Yeah. Is that the right word?
So I'm a third generation boot repairman. My grandfather came to the United States when he was 12 years old. Actually, so my great grandfather died 2 weeks before they got on the plane to come, or not the plane, wow, on the boat to come over. And so when they got to New York, a shoe repairman basically said, I'll take them in and I'll take care of the family. There was 5 kids and my great grandmother, and a shoe repairman in Salt Lake City, Utah, said, I will take them in if the 12-year-old, and I will teach the 12-year-old, who was the oldest, I will teach him a trade, and I will not let the family go on welfare or whatnot, and he will take care of the family, and he will teach the 12-year-old. So they moved to Utah, and he became a boot repairman. And then my father became a boot repairman. Uncles and aunts became boot repairmen. They all went on to do different things. My dad went into the military. I grew up an Army brat. We were all over the place, but we always had boot repair. And so I learned to shine shoes at a young age. We had a shop in a mall at one point, and I would shine shoes. And so the next thing you know, I was fixing shoes and learning a craft, and I'm pretty damn good at it. So,
well, certainly, this craft is relevant to paintball, because to be a boot repairman, you have to be aware of the very strong stitching and stitching through very heavy material, leather. And, those skill sets are applicable in paintball, because, we're sewing through neoprene and stuff like this. It's thick, and you need to have the right stitching, right?
Absolutely. In fact, stitching it's a great point. So like my pants, I don't have a pair of them with me right now, but so my Hydra Pants, my seams are particular directions. Most people won't think about that. Like if you have your pair of jeans on, blue jeans, and you feel the seam on the edge, it'll be folded a certain way, right? It's stitched on and folded back like that, and that creates this seam. Well, my seams are facing the back. So when you're sliding and you're playing the game, the seam is not getting grabbed every time. So
yeah, you can't catch the seam because it's hidden.
Slides right over. It's all in the direction that you make things. So all of that is thought about. Everything is double or triple nylon thread, so it's a stronger thread, not a cotton thread. Everything is double or triple stitched. Everything is thought about that you buy a product that should last you.
Yeah.
Years ago, I used to buy a pair of pants. Now, granted, I didn't play like they do today, but I would have the same pair of pants for years. And that's something that a lot of people don't understand. A big thing that's different about before, it's not that they make cheaper quality clothing now. It's that we play a lot harder. Like I said, I used to play where there'd be literally cow patties on the field. Now everybody plays at a manicured field. If you're playing in the NXL, you've got a paintball park that has a place for you to play,
Yeah.
and you're blessed.
Speaking of the NXL, I've watched your team win the past few events. Tell us about your favorite memory so far in paintball.
Wow. As far as like my kids and the Paintball Fit team.
If you feel like that's the most memorable moment for you.
Oh, okay. So I have so many memorable moments in the game of paintball that are just there's so many wonderful people and so many great memories and so many things that I've done that I cherish them. In fact, that's the best part about this is I constantly make new memories. I meet people and we do things. Um, the boys, um, when they got the opportunity to go pro and with Greg Pauly and they took that opportunity and they went and they did that. That was pretty amazing. And it was like, wow, they did it. They're the pro. But and then things, and that was an amazing year. But in the end, they got the shit kicked out of them by the best fucking paintball players on this planet. And they so much, and it was the best thing that could have ever happened. They got punched in the face so much, and they learned and they fought back. And then at the end of the year, they got relegated, and then they came back as Paintball Fit, and they jumped from. So when they went to pro, what a lot of people don't realize is they were playing. They were D3, and then they went D2, which was the COVID freaking events, just two, and the goal at that point was 2021. They were going to go semi-pro, and they would play D2, and then go semi-pro, and then earn their thing. So that was their whole goal to do it. But then they did the whole pro thing with AC, but for them to come back from that and still be the team that they were and still come out there the very next year and just come out full domination. Paintball Fit is back, and they were slamming. That to me was greater than I even dreamed it was going to be. And they weren't even pro anymore, but that was a defining moment that I was like, that's my boys, and we're here, and they're making a fucking statement, and they're going to be here for a long time. And that was one of the greatest beginnings of a year right there, and it's been a hell of a ride ever since. But that moment right there, when I knew, and I never doubted it, but it was that moment that they won the very first event. It was like, yep, here we go, because they just put the pieces back together and brought Casey back in, and all the players were there, and here we go. Whether people believed in us or not, we didn't care because we weren't doing it for anybody else. We were doing it for us, and if you want to be a part of the show, the door's open, the arms are open. Let's go, and it was pretty amazing.
So, I mean, you guys got two more events this year that you're likely to do very well in. What do you see next year for Paintball Fit?
Oh, I see them going pro for absolutely, and I think it's going to be a super super hard. You're talking about the upper echelon of this game, and they just got back from San Antonio. They went to San Antonio and played against Diesel and against X Factor, and there's definitely a difference, in pro players. They recover faster. They make changes quicker. They just do everything. They say this is a game of inches. It's a game of millimeters in the pros.
Yeah.
It really is.
Who do you think, as far as pro player, I'm not going to ask who's the greatest. I stopped asking that question So what I'll ask is, who's someone that you point your kids to and say, this is a guy that you want to watch all the time. This is a guy that you want to emulate.
I don't. I don't do that. I have a lot of respect for a lot of amazing paintball players. As a young paintball player in the 90s, you know, Chris Lasoya was somebody that I was like, holy fuck, dude, this guy is, he's, you know, and I love him. I still do. You know, it was, you know, there's a lot of great players, you know, Ryan Greenspan, you know, Bob Long, Dave Youngblood, you know, it just, the list goes on and on and on. There's so many amazing players out there, you know, and for me, it's, they don't need to emulate anybody. They need to learn from everybody. And they do that. They don't put anybody up as an idol. They respect everybody, and I know that they do. They don't even have to. I don't. It's not even a question in my mind if they respect other players. Other players might not realize that they respect them, because I think that there's a lot of. You see a lot of players go up to everybody. Oh, can I get your autograph? You know, to these big players, and I don't think my sons do that. But I think that's probably my fault because I don't do that. I mean, I walk around and I see Rocky Cagnoni, and I'm like, fuck, dude, you know, and I even, you know, on die guns back in the day, you know, when I got teched at one of the big events, he was the one. I went into the die truck, and on the new, it was probably DM12, I think. I think we were at Fantasy of Flights, and you know, he was my gun tech, which that was really cool. You know, I go in there, all of a sudden I'm sitting down with Rocky doing it. But I'm not one that's going to go up to people, and it's not disrespectful. In my opinion, I don't feel like I'm being disrespectful. I hope that nobody takes it that way, that I don't go up there and ask them for their autographs. But I do respect them all because I've seen them all. For me, I think they're all great, and they can learn something from everybody. And I feel like
awesome.
And on my sons are all totally different players too. They're not the same player. And if I gave them one person to look at, I've never wanted them to be anything more than themselves. Be yourself, play your game, and I think that they do that, and they do it well.
They certainly do. I mean, their track record speaks for itself. Is there a player that you personally like to watch?
Once again, I like watching them all. I love watching Ollie. Ollie's pretty amazing. Now that he's back, it feels good to see that Ollie's back and play.
Sure.
Ryan Greenspan will always be an amazing player in my eyes because that man can play pretty much anywhere, and he's just remarkable. He just is. He just is. Mouse is crazy, so I've never really got to watch Mouse a lot in the past. I just always knew who he was. But being able to see him play up close when they are here at Fit playing, it's like, damn, okay, like, okay. But you know, there's just a lot of great players out there.
Yeah.
So I don't really have, at this point, I do have a favorite. I love watching my sons play. I mean,
Good answer.
Not to take anything away from the pros that are out there, but I get more joy every time I watch my sons play. I'll get up in my crow's nest and just sit there and watch them play. And I don't care who they're playing. You know, when they're just playing night ball, I love to watch them because something I used to, when I would play, it felt like the field would talk to me. I could be playing and I could all of a sudden, it was like everything would kind of be there. And I'm like, all right, I know everybody is. And I put my game together, and then I would just go and I'd go down the field and do my thing. And then when I see Colt doing that, I'm like, damn. And then it's the same thing, you know, Johnny's been a devastating player for so long. I remember playing, you know, back with him, you know, when he was younger, and I've got all these videos of him at 9 years old, and, you know, uncapped semi, which was crazy, playing with M4. And and it was just, he'd just be this little kid flying down the Dorito side, and me and Chris Goddard playing in this 3-man, and we're just doing our thing, and here goes Johnny just jacking people up, and he's always been that way. And then Brody is the same thing, man. Look out for Brody, because it just keeps happening. And then Trenton, my God, it's the same thing. He will be alive, and he will fuck people up at the end of the game and pull some shit out, and people are like, how the fuck? Where the fuck did you come from? And how did you still have that gas in your tank? So yeah, watching my sons play paintball is the greatest. And then now, the addition of Scott Stewart, my God, that man is so positive. He's such a huge influence to the boys. He brings a level of paintball, and they've only known, and we met Scott, so that's another beautiful thing that happened from the AC Dallas. When they became AC Dallas, we met Scott, and we try out for that, and he's just been a huge part of our game. But then Caleb is everyone. I love watching Caleb. So I met Caleb, and he was just, you wouldn't know it. Younger, they call him Ewok because he looked like an Ewok back then. Just the shape of his body and everything, he just kind of did. And now, man, that boy is just slim and trim, and he's a baller. And once again, he does not make stupid mistakes, and he plays great. And then, Jonathan Chavez, what the fuck? I mean,
that guy was balling at the MAM. Gosh.
He's amazing. So the crazy thing about Jonathan Chavez, when I first met him, he was a snake player. And and when we brought him on, I thought he was going to be our snake player, but he really fastly just blossomed more of that Dorito side guy. And I just never get tired of watching them, because it doesn't matter how many times I watch them, they'll just pull some stuff out, and I'm like, man, the site that the field, like I said, that talks to them, and they do it, and they have that paintball IQ, and I just love watching them play, every one of them.
Yeah, and because they're family, you got 4 family members on the team, and the rest of them are like family. It's like there's a lot of nonverbal communication that can happen. The connection, the trust is way up there. And all these things are factors when it comes to winning championships.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like they have the fortitude to do it. They have what they do. They really do.
So JD, I mean, you've been playing since 1988. I would imagine that you have some gear or something in your memorabilia that a paintball nerd would love to see. Anything that you have that's cherished?
So I have a lot of different things that I cherish. Some of the worst thing that I don't have are my first paintball guns, my first, real tournament. Those were the things that I regret ever getting rid of. But I don't.
Were they autocockers?
Yep. So my original Bob Long autococker that I bought a regular autococker. It's just a black War Games autococker, and I shipped it off and had them do everything to it. Actually, John Kirkpatrick of the Texas Black Diamonds. So they did all their guns through him, and so I handed my guns to them, and I sent 3 guns off and got them back. And before that, I had my mini mag. I played with the mag for years, and I switched to the autococker finally. And then that mag, I left it in my bag. I was like, I'm going to keep it in the bag, just my backup. And I never played with it again because the cocker was so badass until. And then I got an Angel. I got a 99 Angel at World Cup, and was like, holy fuck, this is amazing. Because I felt like it shot just as good as the autococker, but it shot stupid fast. Obviously now it didn't shoot just as good. I just was blown away by how fast it shot. So,
sure.
But that being said, though, when you ask about a cherished item, I don't actually have an item that I cherish, that I worship or whatever, because for me, it's
the memories.
It's my memories. That is my cherished thing. And that was, once again, that goes back to, the cancer thing. And I just was like, I didn't have enough memories. And I feel so proud of what I've accomplished so far in making my memories, because I've got so many friends, which I've always had a lot of friends. My high school friends are great, my lifelong childhood friends. But my paintball friends, those are the people that I always want to be around. They're y'all are the greatest. You people like yourself, this game that I love, that my childhood friends, my high school friends, and they think I'm crazy. They're like,
Yeah, of course.
doing, but I don't care, because I love this game and I love that my boys love it. And those are the memories. And my wife, she truly, if I was going to say what is my best treasure, it's going to be Sarah, because she allowed me to do this from 18 years old. Now you have to realize, Sarah and I have been together since she was 12 and I was 15. I was 14, turned 15 a couple weeks later. And we started dating, and we've been together ever since. And
Wow.
at 18 years old, started playing paintball. She bought one of those cards of paintball tickets. They came into my boot shop, and so that's when I found a paintball field. I found Paintball Games in Dallas because they showed up with these tickets, and I was like, what? Let's go. And then I showed up at that field, and there's like 80 people there. I'm like, I'm in heaven. And from that point on, I didn't miss a Sunday playing paintball. I sold my dirt bikes. I was like, done. This is what I want to do. And she did it with me. We did it all the way until she got pregnant in 91 91 she got pregnant. Johnny was born in 92. Anyway, 92 is when Johnny was born. She stopped playing then. She played until 1991, 92 is when she was pregnant. And but still, I got up every Sunday morning. She kissed me goodbye, and I went off with the boys and played paintball. And she supported me the whole time. And then when we started Paintball Fit, she's the one that started the snacks and the waters. If you've ever been to Paintball Fit, it's all free. It's all complimentary. It's all inclusive. You show up at Paintball Fit, you're here to play. We got you taken care of. And it all started because she showed up as we were practicing with Apex Predators at Paintball Fit, and was like bringing all this water and all these snacks. And I was like, what did you do? What is all this? And she's like, I'm going to give it to my boys. I'm not going to tell everybody else they can't have any. And so she just started supplying it. And she's fucking awesome.
She is.
She is amazing. And
unicorn.
What's that?
She's a unicorn.
She is a unicorn. So she is wonderful. And she's always supported me. She always supports the boys. And I love my mom. And I think that Sarah is every bit the mom that my mom was to me, to all of my sons, and so much more than I could have ever imagined, because I forever see her. She doesn't go out and buy expensive things. She just lets the boys do it. We live for our sons. And now we're getting daughter-in-laws, and we don't have any grandkids yet, but it's pretty amazing. And she is the most supportive person. So you know what? She's my biggest treasure. And without her, I wouldn't have paintball. She introduced me to actual paintball fields and all of it. So, and she supported all my crazy dreams, all my thoughts when I was like, I'm going to start a Hydra business, or I'm going to do the paintball field. She's like, okay. Because I know, and I 100% know this, anything that I want to do, if she's in, I'm going to win. I'm going to win. But if she's not in, then all right, I'm out. Not going to happen. So,
JD, how do you want to be remembered in paintball?
In paintball? As a good friend? I don't know. So one of the coolest things that I love about paintball, and it's just one of the coolest things because there's a billion of them. So as long as I've been doing it, started the store in 93, is when somebody comes back in, that I don't even know who the guy is. The guy will just come walking in the store and he's just like, hey, do you remember me? And it takes a second or two. And then I'm like, okay. And then I start remembering them and they're like, oh, by the way, my son, Jack, and him to buy his first paintball gun from you because you taught me this game. And that to me is remarkable when people come in and they introduce me to their kids and then they bring in their kids into the game. And I think that I live life by the golden rule. I treat people like I want to be treated. And I hope that people will always remember that I treated them. I hope that I treated you well. If I did you wrong, man, let me know. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help it. I'm not going to try to make everybody happy, but I definitely never want to treat anybody wrong. So,
if you could give the world some advice based on the lessons that you've learned from fighting cancer and overcoming it, what advice would that be?
Love your family and talk to them and let them know that you love them. And I would say that if you have somebody that's fighting cancer and going through that, do not think that you're going to bother them by contacting them and talking to them. I think one of the hardest things for me was the people that didn't contact me. Later on got a hold of me and they said that they were too they couldn't face me in the situation that I was, and so they couldn't, and I believe them because they're loved ones, and it was but it was very hurtful. So I think that if you know somebody that's going through cancer, if you know somebody having a hard time, if you truly love them, reach out and talk to them and keep the communication. Just like I said, the game of paintball is life. Life is paintball. Communication is everything. In life, when you don't talk to people, the mind goes weird places and you don't know what they're thinking. And so it's more important to make sure you talk to them. A good buddy of mine from the paintball industry, JP, he was a salesman back in the day. He told me a long time ago, he's like, the worst thing people can do is to stop answering the phone or stop calling somebody, because when you do that, then the other person wonders, I wonder what their problem is. And then that leads to, oh, it's probably they think they're better than me, or they think this, or they think that. And next thing you know, you've just turned into bad things. So once again, life is paintball. You got to communicate. When I watch a game and I see two teams out there, the moment a team stops talking, they're going to lose. I know that team's going to lose. So guess what? That's life. You got to communicate. So what cancer taught me is that if you're going through something, I'm going to reach out to you. And it's, I don't know why somebody wouldn't reach out. They had their reasons. But it matters. So talk to people, no matter what, whether it's cancer or a surgery or whatever it is, and never let a day go by with letting your mom and dad know you love them. When I lost my dad, that was rough. That was really, really rough. And I don't want anybody to ever feel that kind of pain. And then when I lost my mom, that was rough. And if you have kids, I promise you, I don't have a single regret of a dime that I've spent playing this game of paintball, because it has given me memories that I will cherish forever. And the only thing that I'm going to take with me is my memories and my wife. And than that, I could lose everything tomorrow as long as I have Sarah and I have my memories, and life's good.
I love it, JD. Thank you so much for hopping on the show here, sharing with us. Is there anything that you'd like to part with for the paintball community?
Good luck in Chicago. It's going to be exciting. Stop by and say hi. If you ever come by Paintball Fit, we'd love to have you. And check out our Mech X Ball. They're badass. Old school ballers are coming out and playing it. and you just meet so many great people. So, and that's what this
Awesome.
life is about, making relationships and making memories. So
Yes, indeed. Thank you, JD.
thank you, Zyzek.